Hey folks, welcome to a video here on G4G. Today we're going to be talking about Marvel's Avengers, but this is going to be a little bit of a heady topic. It's going to be podcasty style. You don't necessarily have to look at the screen for this one. This is something you can listen to in the car or stuck in traffic, or do we even have traffic with the itis out there? But it's something that I wanted to bring to the forefront with you guys. It's something that needs to be talked about because unfortunately I see it cropping up all over the place now, and it's getting me a little bit bothered. More on that in a moment. I want to deal with the good stuff first. The good stuff is Crystal Dynamics, one of the people involved with Avengers, has really been kind of cool about getting bugs fixed. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to last forever, but in a realm in which we have Borderlands, and we have Destiny, and we have Destiny 2, and we have other looter shooters, and we have other life service games, and we have other microtransaction games, Crystal Dynamics has a lot to learn. There's some things that they shouldn't have launched with, but barring that, these people seem to be pretty cool in trying to fix bugs. Over on Twitter, there is a Twitter post from the Avengers game, Marvel's Avengers game. We'll refer to it as MA moving forward, saying, "Hey, we're scouring social media looking for bugs, but you can go ahead and post it here, and we'll talk about it." And then there is this thread over on Reddit, which is from community manager Megan. Now, this is pretty ballsy for a developer to come to Reddit in a unofficial Reddit, but developer supported. So they're stepping outside of their cushy home. This isn't their forums. This isn't them blasting out a press release and everybody just absorbs it. Here's a thread on an essentially non-official Reddit going, "Hey, we've got some issues. Come talk to us about it. But by the way, here's some things going on, and here's what we fixed. Here's their customer support, or Twitter, or Reddit. This is pretty cool for them to do. This is gutsy. It's ballsy because it would take a lot of people out of their comfort zone. I reference you back to the old Guild Wars 2 lady, Jessica Price, who got... I don't want to use the word uppity because it gets painted as misogynistic or as somebody who gets out of the station that everybody puts them in. I'll say aggressive. Got shitty and aggressive with a fan who was trying to have a conversation about plot and stories, and she took it to be that she was getting her job mansplained to her when he wasn't. He was trying to have an honest conversation with her, and he had an opinion, and it didn't matter what sex he had between his legs. She felt she was getting mansplained to, and she fired off as a content creator within Guild Wars 2, not filtered through a community manager, and she got herself fired for it. And she took down another dude over at NC Soft with her. So it's always scary when certain people come out on media, but at least in this case it's a community manager. This is somebody who gets paid to be pretty chill and act as the bridge. So Megan over here, they've got a post up on Reddit. It's in the R Play Avengers Reddit, and their known issues are an issue with the fabrication machine not distributing rewards, the mission interrogation anxiety can't be completed, falling out of the world when entering the Avengers initiative, unlocking outfits reverting to a locked state. This one is kind of big. This presents to some players as costumes that were previously unlocked through campaign progress reverting to a locked state, which may be due to previewing outfits. They're testing a fix on September 5th. Please refrain from previewing outfits in the cosmetics menu. Ouch. That sucks. I mean, for those who are having outfits purchased in the marketplace or earned through challenge cards relocked, please note that relaunching your game should bring them back. Rest assured, you won't be losing any of the outfits. We're continuing to work on it. Character duplication at the Golden Gate Bridge. The mission house call can't be completed. Infinite loading screens. Community challenge not updating in real time. They're saying that you don't need to do anything on this one. It's still happening on their end. You maybe just aren't seeing it. Credits sometimes do not appear when purchased. Matchmaking issues and a resolved issue of challenge card points not unlocking. It was resolved, and they're asking for some ballpark on the patches, and the community manager is responding and said 7 to 10 days for a big patch. Um, the game using 100% CPU but very low GPU. That one's kind of big. I've heard this before. I flipped by a streamer today. He was on PC. He got done streaming after 10 or 11 hours. I didn't watch him for 10 or 11, but I saw him at the end. And he had a crash, but he said it was the only third one in about 11 or 10 hours. This dev or this CM is pretty responsive. So, like, just clap for that, because that's pretty cool. I'm not going to say they're going to do this 5 months from now, a year from now, but for right now, yeah, let's applaud Megan, let's applaud MA and Crystal Dynamics for getting out there, not in their home. This isn't their garage. They've walked down the block to the convenience store, and they're having a water cooler conversation over there. That's pretty cool. Also, I saw this article when I was looking to find an article I had read last night saying there's some issues playing with the controller on Steam. Now, I didn't have that. There was a weekend where everybody had an open beta no matter what your system was. And I played the PC version just to get some footage, because streaming it from the Xbox was sometimes pixelated and chunky and clunky. So I got the Steam version, and I picked up my Razor Wolverine, the RGB kind, just fine. And I had no issues with it. But for some people using, I guess, a straight Xbox or PS4 controller, they do have issues, and that's because the game natively supports it. So Steam supporting it and the game supporting it apparently conflict. You can either turn off controllers for your entire Steam library, which is mentioned in this article at thegamer.com, or you can turn it off per game. So if you turn it off for everybody, you get a big picture menu, and you'll notice here PlayStation config support, Xbox config support, Switch Pro, or do it per game with this Steam input per game setting forced off. So if you're having controller issues, which I did not, maybe because mine is quote-unquote third party. I mean, it is an Xbox controller for all purposes. It has the X button on it. It's just not a direct Microsoft controller, and it's fine. Also, my Razer Kishi straddling my Essential phone is fine. And during the beta, when it was on Xbox closed beta, I had a Xbox controller, not Elite, one of the newer ones, Bluetoothed into a tablet, and it was fine. But again, that's not Steam. So that's the good things. The bad thing, I'm going to get into my bad thing first, and then I'm going to get into the really bad stuff. My bad thing is that I wish in 2020, this being an RPG-based game, when you bring your people to a party, when you have your main character and you're bringing your sub-characters with you. So let's just say my main is Kamala, and I'm bringing Hulk and I'm bringing Iron Man to a mission with me. Why in 2020 does an RPG not follow party mechanics? One, you should be able to issue some orders to your AI people. I mean, you have a relatively unused D-pad Up, yes, up has got a thing, but left, right, down, maybe a button modifier against the D-pad should be able to issue you, your compatriots, some commands like use a heroic. Like if Kamala isn't your main but she's a sub, she's got a healing heroic. You might be so low that you would like to command your AI, hey, use your healing ability because you're running low. That would be a cool thing. Or the stand here, or attack, like an attack my target, like you're playing Descent or Star Lancer or something. Attack my target, defend me. Just stay here, attack, and use a heroic. I think would be good when you're running with AI. The other thing that I think of, and this is the one where I'm like, why is this 2020 not a thing? Shared fucking progress. What is the deal with that? That you can't run as Kamala, bring Hulk, bring Iron Man, and get their challenge cards done, get their leveling done. I just find that to be utterly ridiculous that we could load up Final Fantasy VII, Control Cloud, but Tifa and Aerith still get their shit, or Barrett still gets his shit. It's just, what is this world we live in? It's not even, like, if you want to leave somebody back at the Chimera, fine. I get that. Don't level them. But if they're in the party with you, allow them the challenge card. Allow them to level. What's going to happen when we start getting DLC characters? Are you going to start bringing everybody back to low-level shit all over again? When Hawkeye shows up, and when Kate shows up, and, I mean, allow, like, two characters to do the work, and allow, like, a brand new character to just sit there, and you have to deal with the fallout of it. If they die a whole hell of a lot, you're going to be constantly rezzing them. They're not going to be maybe doing any damage or anything like that. You're still going to have to pay through the teeth for it, but allow that to be your choice. Allow it to be a thing. Allow Hulk and Iron Man to carry an underleveled... allow Thor and Iron Man to carry an underleveled Hulk so that he gets leveled up, rather than trying to be the lead and being, you know, a pussy willow on a mission, or having to dip so far back that he can't get anything done. And like the challenge cards, if Hulk and Thor both have like a kill 3 elite aimbots, and this is one of them right over here in the center of the picture, and it dies, give them both credit for it. It's, at least I think it's not. I haven't double checked, but I'm pretty sure it's not. And I think that's kind of ridiculous. You know, you're going to have so many characters past a certain point. If there isn't some sort of peanut butter smoothing of your time and your grinding, I think that's going to be pretty awful, and I think it's going to put a lot of people off. Excuse me. And I think it's going to make people get upset with the game early, potentially abandon the game early. And then here's the thing. If you have these transactions, like buying the credits and everything, you need to do exactly what you can to hold people to your game so that they pay for your game. Now, I don't agree with a full price game having the transactions that this game does. I think it's kind of shit. The credits that I got in the beta don't seem to match up to the credits that I'm getting live. I seem to be really far behind the credits compared to where I was in the beta, and I was just kind of buying shit, or like upping a challenge card a little bit for a skin. There's like nothing I can buy right now, and I feel, quote unquote, more progressed. So that's my bad stuff. Now let's talk about the bad stuff I'm seeing in the community. So I'm going to reference an article on inputmag.com. Never heard of this website before. I wish I didn't. And a set of comments on mmorpg.com. So I was scrolling down through this yesterday because I saw a link on Twitter. And this guy, Goozemania, starts off by saying, it annoys me how apologetic reviewers are with this awful game. Is it that they are sad that Marvel's failed yet again to force Miss Marvel on the public? Or is it because they are paid by Disney? Or is it everyone just suddenly a huge Marvel fanboy? Mavril, by the way. Reviewers are more than happy to shit all over other games which are superior to this one. So I will get to the rest of it, but this part, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It is getting critically reviewed. People are not just saying, oh, yay, Marvel's Avengers, Disney, Marvel, woo. They aren't. They literally are not. Critics are calling this perhaps the most divisive or second most divisive game of the year. I forget what was considered the most because it happened already. But I read a review that's like, I want to call this the most divisive game, but X already happened, and that'll probably take the cake. And I don't remember what it was now, and but this just shows you that this guy is in a negative feedback loop over here. He keeps seeing these grand apologetic reviews, which they're not. And he keeps putting them in what to him is a negative bucket. I don't think he's realizing that, Warcraft 3, The Frozen Throne, that is probably the most divisive game so far of the year. I think that's actually what it was. Because that was, I actually returned that one. So, if it wasn't for Warcraft 3 Remastered, this one could be considered critically awful. Now I want to show you the comment that finally seems to have been removed. I know it's pointless. This is Guzmani who said it, but the comment is gone. I know it's pointless to say anything to you, but people loved Kamala in Mu 3 and they love her here. The game has 99 problems and she ain't one. So somebody said that to Goose, and then Goose responded with, yeah, sure. You people are so ridiculously predictable. You were waiting with bated breath for this game to be good so you could use it as a weapon against the alt-right racists who predicted it would be awful. Like, what? What fucking politics have we brought into this game? I have read zero about this. Somehow this guy dug in sand and pulled up a rotting corpse of a dinosaur that didn't even belong. This is utterly ridiculous. All these reviews being so apologetic and going out of their way to defend this one character is not normal. What? This is not normal review behavior. This game may have 99 problems or more, but she is absolutely one. Maybe not the most important one, or even a top 10. Kamala is not a problem in this game. Zero. And I'll get to that in a second. People talking about bugs, high-end system. It looked pretty nice, especially Thor and Cap. Said, I do find it hard to believe they'll be offering additional characters for free. This looks like here's a bad one, but it's not racist at least. This looks like a total dumpster fire. Never mind the stupid microtransactions, and that seems to be a Chinese ripoff of the Avengers, or the fact that they have motion blur that can't be disabled in 2020. You're an idiot. It can. It's been spoken of since the beta, because the beta revealed that it's a major issue in camera shake and blur. So they did absolutely put that option in. 610 very lacking. Con isn't the issue. Solid pass. I think it's clear that Miss Marvel's not what's wrong with MA. And here was my response. I was like, Christ, dude, calm it down. I've posted twice on the site ever. I said, Christ, dude, calm it down some. If you paid any attention to the net at all, you'll see that reviewers have called this the most divisive game, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's acting delirious over this game. Fans and critics alike have had issues with the game, but some really like it and some don't. One of the issues why Kamala is thought of highly is because she doesn't have an MCU counterpart to start raising the porn Chinese stunt double Avengers comparisons. That is a major point. People probably... One of the reasons why Kamala is well liked is because she doesn't have somebody we've seen on the big screen that we could say, oh God, this isn't Tony Stark. This isn't the Tony Stark I know. It's not the Captain I know. It's not the Thor I know. It's not Hemsworth. It's not Evans. It's not Robert Downey Jr. It's not Scarlett Johansson. She doesn't have that, so we find her to be an easier pill to swallow because she's already a leg up over everybody. But that's not just the only thing. Also, she's acted well, and the voice actors seem to really enjoy doing the work. Not everything has to be a conspiracy that makes its way down to the basement-dwelling incel lords. A lot of us have an open mind and want to see where this goes. This Twitter is alive right now. Their Twitter is alive right now with a ton of bug fixes. Here's somebody calling out the racism. I love and hated Marvel Heroes, Anthem, Anthem failure. I didn't know the motion blur can't be disabled, and I'm with you, but then here's somebody showing you how you can. It just seems like a Shadows of Mordor with Avenger skins. I'll wait for the $10 Steam sale. Here's somebody saying that all Marvel-related games have been shit, and all the movies have been shit since the first Guardians of the Galaxy. Let me tell you what I feel about Kamala Khan. I feel that she is amazing in the game. Because simply she's amazing in the game. I don't care that she's female. I don't care that she's Muslim. I don't care that she's Muslim female. She could be straight, transgendered, gay, any combination of anything out there. She's a good character. I think she's done well. I think she's voice acted well. I think most of the facial animations are good. There's still one or two I'm like, ugh, mocap seemed a little off there. And one thing that's sort of a little creepy, like when she's prepping for a mission and or when she first lands at the beginning of a mission, you have control. She does this arm wave thing where the arms are a little long, but they're not exaggerated. So you kind of are staring at it going, is she stretchy right now? Or is it just a weird camera trick? And she like waves her hands and it seems like she sucks the length back in. Okay, that's a tiny bit off-putting. But Kamala is a genius in this game because she's a genius in this game. Again, none of the structure of her character, not the race, not the gender, not anything, makes that so. It's how she was written and how she was voice acted. I challenge anybody not to laugh or smile at the van sequence, the 70s porn van sequence that she has with Bruce Banner, and she's drinking out of like the Q-Mart cup. People pointed out Q-Mart is very much a Marvel only convenience store, so that's a nice little Easter egg there. Also, it's just a funny scene, and that scene has been done. I'm gonna spoil this over here. I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna totally spoil it, but you're gonna get an idea. That scene has been done and became a meme and a gif out of Yoda, Baby Yoda in The Mandalorian. It's similar to that, but it's very cute. She's enthusiastic, she's fun, but she also has sad, depressing moments. She's the underdog in being such a superhero fan, and then she becomes one, but she has to be told she is, because she doesn't think of herself that way. She still walks around in awe of these people that she's with when she's on their level. She's just done well, and it doesn't have anything to do with not being alt-right or being an SJW. She's just done well. And this is coming from a person who had concerns about Captain Marvel before seeing it, but did come out and say it was a solid A- at least. who does not like the treatment Molly Hayes got on the Runaway show, not because she became Molly Hernandez, just because, at least in the seasons I've seen, I'm disappointed in the character. Um, I don't take any kind of an SJW stance on this at all. I take a very realistic stance on it. She's a good character. But now let's look at this thing over on inputmag.com. If you were getting a little sick to your stomach for what you saw there in the comments, now let's actually talk about this review, which really has me quite disgusted that this is out in print somewhere. And I know nothing about the site. I don't know their leaning, how they've reviewed other things, but make this glorified mobile game turn out as much cash as possible. So, the title is Marvel's Avengers thinks you're stupid and wants you to waste your time. You've probably played Marvel's Avengers before. It was previously called Batman Arkham Whatever, Marvel Spider-Man The Division, Destiny 2. No, Marvel Spider-Man was open world. Destiny 2 is mission-based, but Division is open world. No, it was not everything that you list here. Is it a looter shooter like Division and Destiny 2? Yes, but you're drawing some spider webs over here that are tenuous and thin at best, but okay. This new version is an attempt to squish these previous iterations together and add a layer of needless complication in order to motivate children to beg their parents to pay for microtransactions. The beta for Marvel's Avengers was a disaster, if we're being honest. No, it led them to get a couple things to fix. In an earnest attempt to work out the game's bugs, Square Enix allowed customers to try out the worst, most craven parts of the game, multiplayer grinding. While this allowed the company to plug various holes in its work, it also revealed its priorities. Make this glorified mobile game churn out as much cash as possible. Mobile game go brr. The actual retail release of the game is far larger than the beta would have you believe. The combat portion, in which you play as one of a handful of Avengers, button mashing your way through fights alongside other heroes, is designed with the lucrative multiplayer market in mind. I'm going to play this completely solo as much as I can. The streamer that I watched today, it's JP, I think is who it was. He got one that he was underleveled for and said, yeah, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to wait until tomorrow and get up with some friends for it. So what? Like, what's wrong with having a bunch of people that you want to enjoy the game with? I have a good friend for many years that I've enjoyed the UT series with. The World of Warcraft through its many expansions with. Division Beta. Borderlands 2. Halo. I mean, so what? We had fun on it, but we each did our solo things. The only one that I got upset about was how much content was locked behind multiplayer Dead Space 3. That was a bit bullshit. To the end, the character skill trees and cosmetics are needlessly complex. No, they're not. Are you a fucking monkey sticking a twig in an anthill to get some protein? Like, I'm sorry you don't know how to fashion the twig, but it's pretty easy. Go break a limb and stick it in the goddamn anthole. This is ridiculous. To say the skill tree and cosmetics are needlessly complex and is to give consumers ample opportunities to feel inadequate in their progress, incentivized to spend more time in the game. No. Absolutely not. What fucking absolute meth are you smoking to think that the characters... I would love for you to see Path of Exile. Go fucking install Path of Exile right now. Then come back and blow this goddamn article off the internet. Literally nuke it from orbit. Because this is ridiculous. Go play fucking Final Fantasy X in the sphere grid and tell me these character skill trees are needlessly complex. You are a fucking idiot. Where did your name go? I think it's at the bottom. I noted it, but anyway. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. The cosmetics, he's got a small bit of a point, but not really. This is unfortunate, as this half of the game is fused with a surprisingly fun narrative campaign with great controls and nifty ideas how to differentiate different characters. Though it holds the player's hand too much and can be a bit heavy on the quick time, The actual story, buried beneath the cynical game mechanics, is perfectly fine, and this is where things get bad. Essentially, the events follow the plot. Essentially, the events of the plot follow Kamala Khan, a young Muslim woman given polymorphic powers, as she goes from worshipping the Avengers to fighting alongside them against a villain who represents an existential crisis. Why did you have to add young Muslim woman? Who the fuck cares? If you say Kamala Khan, Marvel fans know who Kamala Khan is, but you had to call it out, and you wanted to talk. Let's talk about agendas here. What results is a story about how great the Avengers are, which I'm sure Disney was incredibly pleased about. Is there anything you haven't seen before? Nah, probably not, but the game's trite themes are made easier to swallow by virtue of seeing a young brown girl lead the pack. Jesus fucking Christ. It is transparently manipulative identity politics on behalf of several exploitative multinational corporations masquerading as an anti-corporate, anti-fascist call to arms. Yes, but it's better than Call of Duty. Oh my god. Get the goddamn hell off the net. Not once has anybody in the game said anything to Kamala in reference to who she is or what her background is. I mean, maybe once she self-referenced it when she was talking to Iron Man. When Iron Man comes on board, she talks about growing up in Jersey and everything like that. And maybe she mentioned it, but so far I've seen nothing mentioned to her or about her in the game that references her as anything other than just Kamala Khan. Utterly ridiculous. This would be fine, great even, if the game were honest about its focus. Many people enjoyed Farmville or Kim Kardashian Hollywood. And if that's what you want to make, go forth and chill. Like, oh, fucking Christ. The problem with this game is that it attempts to bait fans of story-driven single-player titles and then switch the game out to a grindfest at the last second, which is not what grindfest fans or story-driven fans are looking for. But hey, at least it's not another open-world game. While it might be tempting to engage it as it chews through time during quarantine, don't waste a moment. Go outside, go for a walk, have your own adventure, watch The Boys, play Final Fantasy VII Remake, play Carrion, collect real-life resources, then cook a recipe. Please do not buy this game or encourage these people to further denigrate interactive storytelling. And where did your name go, you ridiculously slimy piece of trash? Ryan Houlihan. How fucking disgusting is this that people are turning this into identity politics, that are typically on the side that complain about identity politics, who anywhere on any review that I have seen has said anything about Miss Marvel other than the fact that she is fun and that she sort of is what keeps the story or what keeps the game good. I don't feel in any way, shape, or form that Miss Marvel being brown or being Muslim or being female or being any whipped up concoction cocktail of the above has anything to do with this game or her character or how she's represented. I mean, this, it's utterly ridiculous. In a world where identity politics are aggressively played out and portrayed in things, this is not one of them. This is so innocent of that, in my opinion. I think it's utterly ridiculous. We have to suffer through the last decade of people saying that Miss Marvel was going to be bad because of what Brie Larson said, and I was one of those people. I did wonder about that. That Black Panther was going to be bad because it represented an African culture, and it wasn't. Anybody who talks shit about that movie, I think, is ridiculous. People who complain that Iron Fist was whitewashed when Danny Rand was always white and Caucasian to begin with. People who complain that Luke Cage was, Luke Cage was so aggressively black and racist because it took place in Harlem and didn't have a lot of white people in it, and people were saying, well, if this was reversed and this was white people, it would be racist. But hello, Luke Cage is a black superhero. It's set in Harlem. What do you expect a bunch of Italian Americans to be running around? Like, I don't get it. This game doesn't feature anything that I think should be slammed on for Kamala Khan. I I think it's ridiculous. Kamala is... She has not had aggressive treatments in any game that I've ever seen. She was fair to Midland in Marvel Avengers Alliance. She was less than fair to Midland in Marvel Future Fight. She is pretty solid in Marvel Strike Force, although her popularity has waned when nobody really talks about the Brawler teams or Miss Marvel Defender teams. It's now all pun fenders every day, all day. I mean, there isn't even Spider Fenders anymore. It's mostly pun fenders. It's not even Night Nurse Defender. I mean, all of the iterations of Defenders seem to have gone away in favor of pun fenders. I get that maybe in comics people feel that Kamala was shoved at them, but I don't feel that that was done that way in this game, and it makes sense for her to have the role that she does in this. And I would totally wager that half the people who have an issue, if not all of the people who have an issue with her in Marvel's Avengers, are probably people who had no problem spanking it to Mia Khalifa into their spank sock in the dimly lit basement of whatever hovel their idiot selves were living in. But, she's bad for Marvel's Avengers, but, a similar looking girl with glasses is good for porn. It's... Wow. I cannot believe I've read these two things last night about that comment here on MMORPG.com or whatever this trash is on Input Mag that I've never heard of. But I just find this utterly ridiculous to see this kind of hate not spewed on the game. Hate on the game is an opinion. If you find it crashes, you're not that crazy about the graphics, you're not that crazy about the porn Avengers look, like the Nayland Palin look to it, or the Saturday Night Live imitating somebody, Brad Pitt as Dr. Fauci. I mean, I get that. We all get that one, and we all feel that way about that one. But to attack the game for identity politics, to attack the game for Kamala Khan, I think is utterly ridiculous. But use the comments section down below. What do you think of the game? What do you think about how the devs and the software houses are trying to deal with this? How do you feel about the transactions? And, how do you feel about the story and Miss Marvel? Do you feel that she is being shoved down our throat? Do you feel that she's being shoved down our throat in a political way? Or what do you think about the people who are trying to make it political? Because I've seen no Kamala defenders try and make it political. They seem to just be speaking about the game. Like, hey, she's funny. She's cute. She's funny. She's witty. She's intelligent. She, is the sort of comedic relief, the realism that brings it all together, and is the most accessible superhero in the lineup because everybody's so well established. She's like the touchable one of the group. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because I think these two things that I've read absolutely disgust me. So, thanks for putting up with this long video over here. I know this is not a very action-oriented one. It's a talkie. But hopefully you were able to at least enjoy it podcast style. Thanks a lot, guys.